request that we settle down, as we are about to commence the proceedings of our business this morning. We wish to apologize for starting some 20 minutes late. We're still waiting for one or two of the senior officials to arrive, and we shall proceed. Before we go into the business of the day, I'd like to invite every one of us to rise to our feet as we observe a moment of silence in honor of the late former President of the Republic of South Africa, Mr. Nelson Mandela. So rise to our feet. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You may take your seats. Our guest of honor, the Honorable Minister of Mines, Energy and Water Development, Mr. Christopher Ayabuma, the Honorable Deputy Minister of Education, who is still on his way, the Secretary of the Cabinet, who is at the moment not with us yet, since we called our way to some agent business and cabinet office. We do expect that he will join us. The Executive Chairman of ZCCM-IH, Mr. Mulungushi, the President of the Chamber of Mines, Mr. Ian Mutati, the Country Manager of the African Development Bank, Dr. Freddie Cressida, the guest speakers, Mr. Steve McDonald and Mr. Eduardo Echant, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is my singular honor and privilege to welcome you to the Mining Skills and Training Framework Stakeholders Summit this morning. This meeting is a culmination of many months of hard work, hard selling, hard negotiation, and it brings us today to the occasion where, before we leave this place, we will have witnessed the signing of the MOU by the various stakeholders who will be involved in part and parcel to the mining skills and training framework implementation. I wish to inform you, ladies and gentlemen, that we will be aiming to finish not later than 13 hours this afternoon, and therefore we shall review the program, and as we proceed, we shall advise you the changes that will be made to the program so that we can allow you to go and do other things in the afternoon today. Without taking much of your time, it is now my honor and privilege to invite the ZCCM-IH Executive Chairman, Mr. W.T. Mulungushi, to deliver his welcoming remarks. Thank you.
The guest of honor.
The guest of honor, Honorable Minister of Mines, Energy and Water Development, Mr. Christopher Ayabuma, Member of Parliament. The Honorable Minister, Deputy Minister of Education, Science, Vocational Training and Early Education, Professor Lombe Antoli is on his way coming, Member of Parliament. President of the Chamber of Mines, Mr. Emmanuel Mutati, the Country Manager of the African Development Bank Group, Dr. Freddie Cressida, guest speakers, Mr. Steve McDonald
and Mr. Eduardo Echas, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the board and staff of ZCCMIH, as well as our skills training team, I would like to welcome you and thank you all for your presence at this mining industry integrated and collaborative skills training meeting. When the mining industry was at its peak in our country, this country was the hub of knowledge in all the mining fields in the region. It prided itself with having a world-class skills training framework, which was a beacon of industry excellence not only in the region but global. However, because of the unprecedented economic crisis that Zambia and Africa went through in the 90s and the resultant dismantling of ZCCM Limited, Zambia has lagged far behind and its previous record almost shredded. In January 2012, I was privileged to have met with senior executives and managers from the mining industry. At that meeting, we discussed at length the need for improvement in the skills in the mining sector. We were all in agreement that currently Zambia was facing worrisome drawbacks in the mining sector due to lack of appropriate skills, and that steps to remedy this must be taken as quickly as possible. For the mining sector to play its pivotal role in the Zambian economy, it must continue to be run in a more efficient and coordinated manner. This requires that strategic investments be placed not only in machinery and equipment, but especially in human capital. Following our January 2012 meeting with the various captains of the mining companies, ZCCMIH, through its board of directors, decided to pursue the matter of reviving skills training and development by constituting a team of experienced mining industry figures to help in moving the agenda forward. A team comprising Ms. Sophie Mutemba as chairperson, Dr. Matthias Mpande from the School of Mines at University of Zambia, Professor Nkonde from the School of Mines, Copperbelt University, and Mr. Pius Mambo were appointed with the following mandate: to establish the extent of skills shortage in the mining industry, to establish factors leading to the skills shortage in the mining industry, to determine the extent or level of skills training being undertaken by the mining companies and training institutions and its impact on mitigating the shortage, to develop and establish a mining sector integrated and collaborative skills training framework that addresses the current skills shortage in the mining sector, and finally, guide the development of skills for the mining sector going ahead. Following this mandate, the skills training team undertook visits within and outside Zambia. They visited all the mining companies. They visited some suppliers to the mining industry. They visited Brazil, they visited Australia, with the main aim of gathering as much information as would be required and learning from others on the models which could be modified for the Zambian mining sector. The skills training team finished its work in the first quarter of 2013 and shared its findings with most of the stakeholders in the mining industry. Their main findings were that the mining industry was and is still facing a huge gap in the quality and quantity of skills, which is hindering the development of the sector. Following the presentation of the report of the team to various stakeholders, the Secretary to the Cabinet, Dr. Roland Siska, convened a meeting in early October 2013, involving representatives from government, the mining industry, education and training institutions on the matter of skills deficits in the industry in Zambia. The main purpose of the meeting was to discuss, agree, and sign a memorandum of understanding intended to facilitate implementation of a framework to support skills training for the mining sector and address the skill shortages in the same sector. Since the discussions at this meeting were not conclusive, it was resolved that stakeholders would be engaged further. In this regard, a subsequent meeting was convened on November 1st, 2013 at Cabinet Office, whose outcome was the final draft of the Memorandum of Understanding, which will be signed by stakeholders at this summit. I am pleased to say that a final draft of the Memorandum of Understanding has been prepared with the intention for all relevant stakeholders to sign at this meeting convened here today. Ladies and gentlemen, we are not proposing anything new. And as I've said at some of the meetings we have had together, we all agree that we must store our pride as regional leaders in the mining sector by our sincere efforts in reviving a stakeholder-driven skills training and development program. I want to welcome you all today. Your participation in the program is important and is very much appreciated. Please allow me at this stage now to call upon the guest of honor, the Honorable Minister of Mines, Energy and Water Development, Honorable Christopher Alomar, to address you. I thank you for your attention.
The the representative of the Development Bank of Africa, ADB, Mr. Dr. Freddy Esiga, our guest from Australia, Mr. McDonald, and from Mali, Brazil, Mr. Eduardo Echa, representatives of equipment and technology suppliers in the mining industry, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is my honor to be part of yet another important meeting focused on enhancing the mining sector's contribution to the economic development of this country. Not so long ago, we had a meeting organized by the International Council of Mining and Metals, ICMM, here in Lusaka, to discuss how mining can contribute to the economic development and social development of this country. And this is focusing mostly on the local content. Last week, the International Labour Organization, ILO, organized a meeting at which the issue of creating more quality jobs through socio-economic development in mining communities was discussed. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are proceeding to agree on putting in place a framework to support skills training in order to address the shortage being experienced in this sector. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a known fact that mining industry in Zambia has for some time now been faced with a shortage of critical skills. This attributed mainly to the fact that Zambia has not fully recovered from the effects of low metal prices experienced during the 1980s and the 90s. You will recall, ladies and gentlemen, that during this period, mining activity reduced drastically, and consequently, very few people were interested in undertaking training in mining-related fields. In addition, as a nation, we did not put in place measures to continue skills training after the privatization of Zambia consolidated copper mines. Ladies and gentlemen, studies have been undertaken which have pointed to the fact that there is a serious skills gap in the mining industry, which is not addressed may worsen the situation. One of the studies was the World Bank sponsored survey and analysis of demand and supply of skilled workers in the Zambian mining industry. The findings of this survey were confirmed by a recent ZCCM investment holding sponsored study. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the shortage of skills in the mining industry, no doubt, has effects on the industry and the economy at large. You are all aware that skilled manpower is an important factor of production, without which an undertaking's profitability is affected. It is affected because the cost of hiring labor becomes expensive, thereby pushing the production costs up. And in the end, profits for a mining firm are reduced, and also tax revenue to the state is also affected. The other effect of inadequate skills in the mining industry is that as a nation we are losing out on the opportunity of creating a mass of skilled labor that can drive the industrialization of this country. The many skills required by the mining industry are also relevant for other countries, other industries. Ladies and gentlemen, if we do not address this shortage of skills in the industry, we risk seeing an influx of expatriates, a situation that will rob Zambians of much needed employment. Therefore, we should put in place measures that will ensure that Zambians are